Okay. Oh, my butt is sweating. I'm sorry. The sweater dress was a crazy choice. This is OD. I was trying to be romantic with the red. It's a little OD.
I love it. Red and black.
Yeah, with
We
the gold, I wish I
complement each
had
other.
some. I think I would go. Anyway, Mac.
Hello.
Hold on, my eyelash got stuck. Mac.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to just need you to clarify this for me because I might have got it wrong. I have that you're a licensed family and relationship therapist or just couples therapist.
I'm a licensed mental health counselor
Okay.
with a specialization in couples therapy.
Okay.
As of now,
Okay.
oh, is this part of the recording or no?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
As of now, the first black male certified government therapist on the East Coast.
We like that. I wish it was Juneteenth. This nigga making history. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to call you a nigga.
Yes, I am.
You a credential.
Yes, I am. I'm still a nigga.
He's still a nigga with
That
credentials.
nigga shit.
Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is this concept that I learned in therapy of rupture and repair. I'm sure you're extremely familiar with it.
Love that.
But for me, that was so life-changing to learn about what that was. I had never heard of the concept. And I kind of use it as a benchmark for a lot of things in my relationship, in my relationships in general, really. And so I want to give this information to the people, maybe people who don't have access to therapy in this moment and who want to be therapized. So, yeah, can you explain the concept of rupture and repair?
Yeah, so in a relationship, there's going to be ruptures. Like there's going to be a fight, there's going to be a blow up, there's going to be a disagreement. However, usually when these things happen, you have two choices. You can repair as quickly as possible, or you could allow space to take place in between you guys and make the issue a lot bigger.
Right.
So I'd like to say that the greatest cheat code to a healthy relationship is how quickly do you repair after a rupture. Don't allow days, don't allow weeks, don't give the silent treatment,
Years.
don't sleep on the couch. Like try your best to repair as quickly as possible so you guys can reconnect again. So during a rupture, so I want you to think of a bridge, right? During a rupture, one person, each individual of the relationship are on either side of the bridge, right? A repair allows you to get back to the middle of the bridge together,
right,
to reconnect in the relationship. However, for those that are anxiously attached and avoidantly attached, repairs tend to not come as quickly as they should.
I see. And so, speaking of quickly, you said as quickly as you should. You said quickly. Why is it important for the repair to happen quickly?
Let's just say that you have a wound.
Yeah.
Right? On your body. The quicker you get it taken care of, the quicker it would heal.
Yeah.
If you get a gunshot, you want to go to the hospital as quickly as possible for it to be addressed.
Yeah.
As opposed to waiting days and weeks, which can negatively infect your body. It's the same concept for a relationship.
Okay.
The reason why couples tend to take so long in doing so is because they don't have the skills on how to repair.
I see.
It's easier to be mad at each other and take space away from each other and not acknowledge the real issue, as opposed to taking the necessary accountability and taking on the self-reflection and highlighting your contribution to the rupture and acknowledging that.
That's accountability then.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And often that's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to, there was something that you said that I wanted to recall. What are the consequences of taking too long to repair?
Oh man. I mean, if a fight happens and you stay on your side and I stay on my side, our mind starts ruminating.
Yeah.
Right? We start to think of all the reasons why you are right in how you feel. And you start to label all the negative things about this person. They don't deserve me. I knew I should have not done this. This was a mistake. They don't care for me, or etc. Whatever the case may be, which then makes you susceptible to ongoing negative behaviors.
I see.
You might find yourself scrolling more on social media. You might find yourself reaching out to other people to connect with because the connection is lacking in the relationship. You might find yourself choosing other fights because you still crave that connection. It's best to have a back and forth, even though it's negative, versus to just ignoring each other. All right. But again,
I'm trying not to think about myself. Wow.
But again, the repair, which is the most important part,
Mm-hmm.
is very tough to do. And a lot of us have a tendency to operate in isolation, right?
Yeah.
If I'm anxiously attached and we have a fight, I want to resolve it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Like, I need that reassurance that you still love me and you still want to be with me, even though we had an argument.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm avoidant, I'm avoiding this whole conversation. I am perfectly fine sitting on the couch and sleeping on the couch and watching the NBA finals and never talking to you
But
again.
Are they truly perfectly fine though?
No.
That's what. See.
No. Because we're humans. We do best in connection, not in isolation. Right?
Humans, guys.
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot of memes from like these men hustlers. We hustling like pages. No, seriously. And I'm like, this is so toxic. The other day I saw one that was just like, oh, a real man, and this is men speaking to other men. Like, a real man just mutes, like ignores, like drowns out the world, and he just focuses on himself. Like, he just basically he suppresses everything and he moves on and he focuses on the hustle. I'm like, isn't that kind of like self-destructive behavior?
Correct. And for those men, here's what happens, right? They develop different addictions, drinking, pornography, anger issues, or whatever the case may be, because the feelings that they're trying to suppress eventually need to exit their body somehow, right?
Okay.
And a lot of times, the way that happens tend to be more explosive or tends to be more negative and have a greater impact on their health or their mental health.
Wow.
That's why self-care is so important, right?
Yeah.
You're filling back your cup.
Yeah. Do you think that taking too long to repair can also lead to low self-esteem in some people?
Yes, especially for those that are anxiously attached, because to some degree you're basing your value and your self-esteem on how your partner sees you.
Yeah.
And the validation that they provide you.
Right.
So if they're consistently taking space away from you and you're not getting that reassurance and you're not getting that safety, then it might negatively impact the way that you see yourself, right?
Yeah.
Especially if during that space they're going on social media and they're throwing subs or they're reposting things that mirrors the relationship, or they start talking back to their ex, or they leave the home at 7:00 and does not enter back until 3 a.m., which is out of the norm, right? Those behaviors will definitely have a negative impact on your self-esteem and the way that you show up in the relationship.
Oh, wow. All right, y'all. Okay, let me get to the next one. Okay, so you're in a situation, you as in generally, in a situation where you ruptured, there's a fallout, you haven't repaired, the repair has a long time coming, maybe it's prolonged for some reason, and you suspect, let me just look at that line one more time. Okay. And so your partner is behaving inconsistently.
Okay.
What are some signs typically that your partner is cheating on you?
Oh, man. So on average, 85%.
Oh, wait, can I walk it back real quick?
Talk to me.
Sorry. Mac, one of the things that you specialize in is infidelity, right?
Infidelity recovery, yes.
Infidelity. It's wait, you specialize in infidelity is crazy. Specialize in infidelity recovery, recovering from that moment. What are some signs that your partner is cheating on you?
Everything. I mean,
it could be anything.
If I am to recall most of my sessions, it would be that the partner sees that the person's routine has changed.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever routine that is, the time they show up home from work, how they're caring for their appearance and their hygiene. It might be the amount of time they're spending on their phone, access to their phone. They're taking
with the appearance as in they're caring about it way more than usual.
Correct, right? They might start to, get a different style of haircuts, or start prioritizing wearing cologne or perfume. They want to manscape, or they want to address their body hair, or whatever the case may be. It's just a different way of presenting themselves.
Yeah.
They care more about how their clothes look and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They might hang out more with their friends, like less time at home. Not give you access to their phone. Their phones are always on silent when they're around
Or
you,
flipped over when that phone is flipped over.
or phone down, right? Or their location
Yeah.
has just been removed. You check, and a few hours a day it's blocked. Or
It's like, whoa.
there's a lot of reasons, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of signs. I want to say
Yeah.
85% of the time a woman has the intuition that a man is cheating.
Yeah.
They're right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I tend to say if you have that gut feeling, I would trust that intuition. Right. And a lot of times I do get clients or people in general that have that intuition, and other people will tell them, well, you have no evidence, like just let it go, or your mind is just playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
No.
Go find the evidence.
Ugh.
Go find the evidence that either proves it or does not prove it.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you seek reassurance in your partner if you suspect that they're cheating?
You can ask.
And if they don't give it to you, then what?
Then you have a decision to make.
Yeah.
Right? The reason why I would say go find what you're looking for is for you to then know, versus always thinking about it. Right? It's unfair to accuse your partner of cheating when they're not cheating.
Yeah.
So look for the evidence that hopefully will show you that they're not cheating. Now we can let that go. We can apologize for that, and we can take the necessary steps
to repair.
Correct. But if you never seek that evidence, you're continuously attacking them or blaming them.
It's draining. Right?
Nobody wants to deal with that, especially if that's not what's taking place.
Well, how do you know the difference between if it's intuition or paranoia? Because I see a lot of anxious girls. They get caught up in that. Like, damn, am I just paranoid, or is this my intuition going off?
I think there's a lot of benefit to labeling that to your partner. Hey, babe, listen, in my past, I've dealt with not the greatest relationships and I've been cheated on. A lot of times there's still present triggers that I'm seeing in you. And I'm not saying that you're doing that purposely or that you're cheating yourself. It's just triggering my fear or my lack of safety when it comes to infidelity. I would love to work through that with you. And here are the things that I need. It might be more reassurance. It might be more access. And I understand you didn't sign up for that. And I understand that might be uncomfortable for you. But I want you to understand that I am working towards building trust, even though you're not the cause of it. But based on my past experiences, this is my baggage that I'm working through.
Yeah.
I cannot work on it by myself without a collaboration from you. So could we talk about what that could look like?
Okay.
Right? This way, if it's paranoia, you can start getting the necessary evidence to remind yourself, oh, that's paranoia and that's not taking place.
Okay.
I can trust this person. I can trust this woman. I can trust this man because I have the evidence. As opposed to, I'm just going to rewire my brain myself. That doesn't work.
I see.
That doesn't work. It's impossible.
You need to work together.
Correct. Now, if it is infidelity, it's the same concept. Hey, I'm seeing these behaviors here, and to me, that tends to translate as infidelity. I would like to have a conversation about that. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's how it's impacting me. I have some questions. Currently, I am not trustworthy of the relationship. I would like to address these concerns and hope that reassurance can be given as well as evidence so I can counter my fear or what my intuition is telling me at the moment. Usually, if infidelity is not taking place, it's not an issue.
I see.
Ideally. However, there are some people who are just uncomfortable doing that because they're feeling that their privacy is being attacked, which makes sense as well. But a relationship is a dyadic process, right? Whatever I'm feeling will impact the relationship either positively or negatively. So if we have the same goal and we want to make this work, it makes more sense to work with me to address my concerns versus isolating me with those concerns.
I need to. I got a couple more questions about this subject, and then we can move on to the next one. But I want to, for the people that are in a relationship with a person that they suspect is cheating, and then they kind of finally work themselves up to finally confronting their partner. I don't really want to call it confrontation because it kind of gives it a negative connotation. Yeah. More so like to speak to their partner about it. What if their partner's reaction is shutting down? Like, oh, they're completely against it. They're just like, I can't believe you don't trust me. Then what do those people do in that situation?
So 96% of the time, the way you start a conversation is exactly how it's going to end.
Oh, wow.
A confrontation means a confrontation, right? Nobody wins.
I see.
We both lose. Versus a conversation.
Okay.
Which we illustrated when I answered the previous question. Right? So don't go to it as I'm going to confront my partner, especially if I don't have any evidence. What I'm going to do is communicate my feelings and my observation in hopes that my partner can address them or clarify them to the extent that will make me feel safe.
I see.
Right? They can refuse. That's up to them. It doesn't signify that they're cheating or not. In my professional experience, that tends to be a sign, right?
Okay.
But we don't want to have a generalized statement, right? So I think it's very important to have the conversation and hope that it gets addressed. And if not, and you have the intuition, due to the fact that 85% of the time the woman is right, there's no statistics on the men's part. Hence why I'm not saying it.
Okay.
Right? I would say go get the evidence. It's best to find out.
Ooh, go through the phone? Is the therapist saying go through the phone?
Yes. Hot take. Yes. If you have
that is crazy. Go ahead.
If you have the intuition, it can either be disproved or approved.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's only one way of doing that is by getting the evidence.
Yeah.
If not, you're left with those feelings that are going to surface in the relationship and negatively impact it.
Yeah, because you're going to treat them like they're cheating, and even though you don't know anything for certain.
Or it might lead to you cheating because you've convinced yourself that they are cheating even though you've gotten no evidence. I've dealt with that too.
Yeah.
I've experienced that in couples therapy as well.
I've seen that. That shit is devastating too, because then once you cheated, then you find out that the other person actually never cheated. It's like, ooh.
Exactly.
Now you have to deal with that.
A better one is your partner cheated. You find out. They tell you, right? And then they give you the green light to go cheat yourself.
Ooh.
And you follow through.
Tricky.
And now they're upset at the fact that you cheated.
You did it. Like, you gonna take it? Like, why would you do that?
Oh man, I love my life.
it's like someone being like, get out, and then you get out. Like, why did you leave? It's like the same thing. Yeah.
Basically.
I do want to ask you, what are some signs that they're not cheating? That's a good one too.
I mean, the best cheaters make you feel like they are not cheating. If we're being honest.
Is that a disorder though? How can you do it?
A lot. So
or skill.
And fidelity is due to an emotional need not being met in the relationship.
I see.
If your partner is consistently coming to you to have a need met and he's being rejected, right? I'm not just speaking sexually. I'm talking about emotionally, and just intimate wise, not just sex, emotions, behaviors, or whatever the case may be, reassurance, safety, financially, whatever the cause may be. It is human nature. I repeat, it is human nature to seek to get that need met elsewhere.
I see.
A lot of times when we're talking about relationships, we tend to forget the human nature component.
Yeah.
It's as if we are robots. We are not programmed. We are not robots. We have feelings. So, human nature, if my need is not being met in the relationship, eventually I will seek it to be met elsewhere. A lot of time, with a lot of couples, they've actually realized that the affair has benefited the relationship.
Really?
Of course.
I heard somebody say this. It was actually Tahoe.
Yeah.
During Hard or Soft, during the time I was working for him, he was like, nothing makes you appreciate your girl more like a good old cheat.
Exactly.
Like, is that true?
And I'll tell you why. Instead of pestering you about that emotional need that you can't or is refusing to fulfill, now it's being met elsewhere. Now you don't got to deal with that.
Okay.
Now I'm a lot happier because those needs are being met.
But what if you as a partner, the person that, not the cheatee, is that the person that got cheated on? I don't know what the term would be. But what if you as a partner have, wait, what was the last thing you said? Sorry, I be smoking weed.
That the infidelity can benefit a relationship.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. So does that mean that like that, oh wait, okay, this is what I was gonna say. Oh, what if you as a partner had needs that needed to be met from them that weren't being met, and as a result of that you acted in a way that allowed them not to have a need to be met? Because that's usually how it goes. It's like, maybe in an example, the man is like, you don't give me sex enough, and the woman is like, you don't give me romance. Like, how am I supposed to feel sexual towards you if we're not even having romance? So then the partner goes to cheat, the man goes to cheat, and he gets fulfilled sexually, so he's not pestering the other woman as much, but then he doesn't get to work on the thing that she needs.
Correct. Correct, right? Yeah. And that happens often.
Yeah.
And what men need to understand is that foreplay is a 24-hour process, right?
I like that.
When we first wake up, the way that I greet you, the way that I look at you, the way that I talk to you, the way that I check in, how helpful I am around the house, how helpful I am with the children, how helpful and loving I am to you. So a lot of the times men tend to say, but why must I cater to your emotional need first and then my sexual need get met? If it's the other way around, the woman is going to feel oppressed. She's going to feel taken advantage of.
Right.
She's going to feel like she is just there for your pleasure. And when we go back to early time in the relationship, there was a lot of emotional connection.
Yeah.
We're talking more. We're hanging out more.
Talking all night and shit.
Exactly. We're building the foundation of emotional intimacy and friendship. But as the relationship starts to grow in terms of years and responsibilities, friendship tends to be the first one that goes away.
Yeah.
Right? We're not talking as much. Couples that have children only spend 10% of their time together. Right? So we go all day with no connection, and then it's the end of the night, and you want me to turn around and bust it wide open where I felt neglected, invisible, unappreciated by you all day.
Yeah.
A wise man, an emotionally intelligent man, is aware that a woman requires love, appreciation, caring, softness, connection in order for him to receive her best self.
Right.
And vice versa. So a lot of times when couples are having this issue, I tend to say, who's going to be the grown-up here? Who's going to take one for the team? Eventually, instead of standing at the end of the bridge, someone must be willing to come to the middle of the bridge or go to their partner's side and bring them back to the middle of the bridge. The question becomes, what's more important in a relationship, loyalty or commitment? It's a question for you.
Me? You're asking me?
Yeah. Loyalty or commitment?
I would say that's so freaking tough. That's so freaking tough because I would say, like, making me think. You're supposed to give me that. No, I'm just kidding. Shit. Because, like, commitment to me is like, it's like I am here and I am ready to take on whatever it is that comes with it and together because I'm committed to it. Loyalty is like I won't do anything to compromise our values in this relationship.
I actually think it's the other way around.
Yeah, is it?
Loyalty means that I'm loyal to you. That no matter what, I'm here, right? In the street, we speak high of loyalty.
I see.
No matter what happens, I'm going to stand by you.
Yeah.
Commitment speaks to how committed are you to the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're committed, you're willing to do the necessary work and take on the necessary steps to make the relationship work.
Mm-hmm.
When we say our vows, we say till death do us part. But
Mm-hmm.
if we're being honest, there's a lot of relationships that has died, but the people are still alive because
Yeah.
they're loyal to each other.
The old
They're
school
loyal
relationships.
to their vows, as opposed to being committed to their vows. Commitment requires the work.
I see.
Loyalty is, I'm gonna be here because I'm loyal. No. If your partner's not committed to meeting your emotional need so that his sexual needs can be met, then what's the purpose of the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
It's one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, women need to understand that for men, sex is their way of emotionally connecting as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just sex. It's my way of feeling desired, my way of feeling wanted, respected, appreciated, loved, celebrated, and etc.
Mm-hmm.
Us men, we are not, based on what society has taught us, we cannot vocalize certain things. We're unable to. We're unable to request, hey, babe, I would like for you to give me more words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
We want that. A lot of us don't even have the language to even communicate that, but we get that through sex, right? You're giving yourself to me, you're pleasing me, we're pleasing each other. It's a win-win act in most cases. So when a man is consistently dealing with rejection, it affects his self-esteem and his view of himself. He feels unappreciated. He feels unwanted. He can't just sit with these emotions forever. He has to find a way to correct them. That's where the human nature kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
The needs that's not being met in the relationship eventually has to be met elsewhere.
Right.
Now, can we jump into the concept of monogamy, please?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because that's also a big part in infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
Monogamy, in theory, in definition, means is the two of us for life. I have access to you and you have access to me. When I come to you for a need being met and you deny it or reject it, let's be specific. Let's go with sex.
Mm-hmm.
I come to you as my wife and I make a play for sex. All right? 70% of men tend to initiate sex indirectly.
Yeah.
All right?
Listen, I'm tired of you niggas. Wait until sleep, dead asleep in the bed. It's 3 a.m. Then you want to turn over and poke us in the backside with your little thing. Okay? I'm tired of that. Try to give us flowers. Cause like you said, foreplay's a 24-hour thing. This is a pandemic. Like, y'all need to stop doing that. That is not the only way to initiate foreplay. Stop jamming her in the backside with your little thing. Anyway.
Correct, right? So if I approach you for intimacy, sexual intimacy, and you say no, the narrative around a woman saying no is, well, if she doesn't feel like it, she doesn't have to, which is true. She's choosing herself at the moment. Maybe she like, you know what, I'd rather get a good night's sleep because that's self-care for me.
Yeah.
And at
and
that
if you
time,
have kids,
that's
too.
what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Can the same be applied for the man that cheats?
What you mean? Like,
by him going outside of the relationship, that's getting a need met that is self-care for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But to some degree, he's rejecting his partner because he's having that need met elsewhere.
Right.
But that's frowned upon.
Right.
But for monogamy, is both of us agreeing to meet each other's needs as much as possible.
Right.
So what I tend to reference when it comes to rejection is to not allow, is to create a relationship where there's no rejection.
I see.
And what I mean by that is don't say no. Also, you don't have to say yes. But what you could say instead is, it's that, or right now I'm tired and I cannot have sexual intimacy.
Right.
But I can turn on the TV, find you a movie.
You're gonna be like, bitch, I seen Transformers. I want to get my dick sucked.
I'm talking about pornography.
Oh, okay.
Right. The point that I'm trying to make is moving away from 0% to giving a higher percentage, whatever that might look like for you. And for the man to move away from expecting 100% to accepting a lower percentage. So this way, there's no rejection.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Hell yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
My thing is like,
They're gonna
That means
kill
they
me
have
for
to
they're
be
gonna kill me
reciprocal.
for this take, by the way.
Fuck
I hope you
it.
know that. They're gonna kill
Bring
me
your
for this take.
pitchforks.
I am not saying that infidelity is okay. I am not saying that a man should step out or a woman should step out of their relationship.
Right.
We know that's an issue. I am providing a solution so that no longer takes place.
Right.
Infidelity is a symptom of a bigger issue. It's the symptom, it's not the disease.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You were saying?
No, it's okay. I mean, that's it, really. It's like, it's just to be sure that it's a reciprocal thing, like you said, like you're meeting each other's needs as much as possible. So when you're being, I feel like it's kind of avoidant in the case that your partner's telling you what they need, you're not giving it to them, and then it's like, well, you're not giving me money, I'm gonna go have sex with someone else.
Correct.
It's like, okay, so then how do you fix the issue at its core?
Correct.
Then?
And going to have sex with someone else doesn't happen automatically.
Yeah.
It usually takes a while. Right? It usually takes a lot of rejection. It usually takes a lot of conversations that didn't go the right way to address that issue.
Yeah.
And what I recommend for men that feel like that's the next step, label it. Hey, babe, lately I've been trying to engage with you in intimacy. I've been trying to be sexual with you and have our sexual needs be met. I've been feeling rejected a lot. I've tried to create emotional connection. I've helped around the house. Everything that you've required of me, I've tried my best to fulfill that. However, my needs are not being fulfilled. I'm at the point now where I find myself being more open to other connections outside of the relationship. I'm being more flirty. I'm paying more attention to other women, which usually has not been the norm for me. And I'm scared of what that might lead to. I love you. I want this relationship to work. I don't want to do anything that's going to break us up or hurt you in any kind of way. However, the lack of sex is really impacting me. I would love for us to have a conversation and create a game plan on how we can address that.
Yes.
Because right now, I'm fucked up.
Down bad. And also if the sex is, if from a woman's perspective, if you're not satisfied sexually by him, that's something to work on too. Because that's some people's problem, is that he's not giving it up like you needed to. Like in the case of DJ Envy and his wife, it came out in such an unhealthy way.
Not gonna do that.
She like, I'm just saying.
I remember that
conversation,
that episode.
And she said she ended up spazzing one day and was like, you know what? You don't even be putting it down like that anyway. And that was the straw.
Yeah. And going back to research, because I'm big on numbers.
Yeah.
70% of women don't orgasm through intercourse. Right. So if she's not reaching the big O, especially if that's her goal, then what's the incentive?
Her body's not craving
to having sex. Correct.
Yeah.
As opposed to masturbation, where she's more than likely guaranteed an orgasm.
Right.
But what we've also found is if a woman feels loved and loves their husband and they're connected, then they tend to reach more orgasms.
I see.
Right? So a lot of it has to do with attuning to your partner's needs, meeting their emotional needs, connecting with them on a friendship and on an intimate level, which will then better the sex.
Yeah.
The better the sex is, the more sex you want to have. There's 3 L's. I know we're not supposed to take L's in relationships, but there's 3 L's that I love, right? Like, love, and lust. Like speaks to friendship. I have to like you. We have to be able to spend time together and enjoy that time. Love usually kicks in around year 4 of the relationship. I know who you are, and I accept you. Agreeing to be with someone or married to someone, you're agreeing to a set of problems that more than likely will never change, but that you can live with, right? So that's very important, of accepting your partner for who they are. That's acceptance. So we have friendship and acceptance. The third is lust. That's desire. I must lust after you. You must lust after me. Right? I want to be able to look at you and be turned on. I want you to look at me and be turned on. I want us to yearn for each other's needs. But for some reason, in long-term relationships, or when other people are talking about relationships, lust has a bad rep.
I see.
That makes no sense.
I think it's because people associate lust with you just having eyes for having sexual energy in general. For others, doesn't matter. But you're just saying it's just fuel.
Yes, for the relationship.
Yeah.
Right? There's two train of thoughts when it comes to intimacy. We have the Gottmans, who preaches the more you stay connected, the more time you spend together, the more attuned you are to each other's needs,
Yeah.
the more sex you're going to have because those needs are being met emotionally and now physically. Then you have Esther Perel, which tends to speaks of the need for distance, right? Not allowing the relationship to become your identity. Also continuing with the individuality, allowing your partner to develop new eyes for you, right? Go take that salsa dance class. So now when I watch you dance salsa, oh my God, look how my girl is moving
to the hip.
Right? Take the time to pursue that passion project of yours. Because now I'm seeing you passionate about something and making it happen. So now lust is being created because I get to see you in that new experience. I think a balance of both is definitely needed, but lust is a significant component of a long-term relationship. Maintain yourself, maintain your appearance, maintain the way that you communicate, maintain what your partner has access to. Nowadays, I have a set of cologne that my wife does not know the names of them.
But she loves
She
them.
searched the whole house for it. She'll never find it, right? Because this cologne is my way of creating more lust in the
it's
relationship.
like a mysterious.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't wear it often, but when I wear it, you know what's about to happen. Exactly. Right? So that's one of the ways of not feeling like the relationship is just roommate based. Lust. Like, love, lust.
Take the mails, y'all. Take the mail, shit. Okay. Let me get to the next question. It's going to be... I do want to go... I pulled up some stats about infidelity from country to country.
Okay.
From the World Population Review.
Oh, God.
What? Are they not good?
No, I'm excited to hear that.
Okay. So it says... It has a little intro. Hold on. Let me just make sure I'm reading the right part. Okay, so this is according to the World Population Review, okay? It says, there are surveys that have been conducted on infidelity in the U.S. Approximately half of people in married relationships cheat at least one time during the course of the marriage. Close to 3/4 of men and more than 2/3 of women admit that they would sleep with someone else if it was guaranteed that they would never get caught. In addition, the majority of affairs start with close friends or coworkers. It is unusual for a one-night stand to be the cause of infidelity in a marriage. In addition, once an affair begins, it lasts an average of 2 years. Finally, if the affair is discovered, close to 2/3 of marriages will end immediately because of the affair. And so then it gave me infidelity rates. This mic is really coming for me. It gave me infidelity rates country by country, and it says there are several countries in which cheating is relatively common. Thailand is an outlier, but is also at the top of the list.
Really?
Which is so random.
I mean, there's a lot of...
The sex scene?
Yeah.
That's probably... It probably is sex drive, not as much
is
as...
it income driven?
In Thailand, it is?
No, I'm asking
because... Oh, is it?
Because of the sex scenes, there's a lot of...
Lady boys? Or...
Yes, and there's a lot of mongering, meaning you pay for the service.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, is it income driven? Like, I'm doing this to make more income.
You know what? That would be a good question, because I did watch a documentary about the sex scene in Thailand. And a lot of them are doing it for survival.
Yeah.
A lot of them are claiming they enjoy it too. They're like, I enjoy being able to provide for my family in this way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is an interesting take, because that is not a take that some societies are willing to accept.
Western societies.
Western, yeah, societies. Yeah. With them, like, they're just happy to be able to take care of their families.
Correct.
Okay, then it goes on to say that more than half of people in Thailand who are married admit to committing infidelity at least once during the course of the marriage. Then infidelity is relatively common in Europe. In some situations, there might be relationships where people are allowed to sleep with other people outside of the marriage. In Denmark, close to 46% of people admit to sleeping with someone outside of the marriage. Germany and Italy, not too far behind at 45%. Belgium, Norway, and France at 40% or higher.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're all pretty much around the same. I mean, the U.S. is the highest, it said, on the list it has. Thailand did say it's an outlier, but it said it's up there.
Yeah. Makes sense, though.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw those out there.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And again, like, one thing that I want to highlight that you said is that most of the people want to maintain their relationship, right? They don't want a breakup. They don't want a divorce. It's just that at times they feel like, again, going back to human nature, this need of mine is not being met in the relationship, and I'm seeking it to be met elsewhere. But ideally, I don't want it to negatively impact my relationship.
Ugh, I hate that because this is like, but what the hell? Because it's like, I feel like there is also an epidemic of people getting into relationships to be in relationships, and they're not necessarily exploring whether. I mean, there's some compatibility, but like, is there like compatibility enough on a level that you could actually participate in a relationship with someone, with that person exclusively? I think a lot of people are just jumping into it. Not gonna lie.
I think there comes a point where, like you said, a lot of people just don't want to be single because it's frowned upon. They rather be in a relationship. I mean, financially as well, it makes a lot of sense having a two income home, right? Raising children in a two-parent household.
I'm glad you said that.
Versus one. So those outliers play a big part on people's comfortability with infidelity. Interestingly enough, in my work, what I found is that older women and men are comfortable with their partner engaging in infidelity as long as it's not done disrespectfully.
I see.
Verbatim. All right. If home is being cared for.
Yeah. You loving on your partner.
The needs are being addressed on a financial level as well.
Yeah.
And it's not the next door neighbor or it's not in my face, then I can look away.
That's the worst part about it, though. How come when you niggas cheat, you always got to cheat with somebody that is going to be...
When you say you niggas...
You niggas,
do you want to specify the gender, please?
You and niggas.
Because I have some stats about women as well.
Okay,
right?
Go ahead.
After a marriage, a woman thinks of infidelity 2 to 3 years prior to the man.
Ah,
right.
So they've already been exploring that idea.
Correct.
On average,
and a lot of the stats are self-reported. So there's no way.
Sorry, this TV
turned off. Ah, you good? Yeah. Yeah.
Stats self-reported. Got you.
A lot of the statistics on infidelity is self-reported. So you don't really know if it's true or not, right?
Yes.
There's always some outliers.
Right.
I think that men, we tend to boast due to our ego. A lot of times we might say, yes, we have cheated when we haven't. Because we want to be cool and we want to appear that we have choices and opportunities.
Yeah.
For women, my hypothesis, it might be the opposite, where they are less forthcoming about their infidelity because they don't want to be perceived in a negative way, even though the person asking the question may not know them or have a relationship to them.
Yeah, it's not ladylike.
Correct, right? So when I hear statistics on infidelity, I take it with a grain of salt. Makes sense?
Because it's what people are willing to share.
Correct.
And a lot of people are not willing to admit that.
Unless you're gonna put them on a lie detector.
Yeah.
You'll never know if they're telling the truth or not.
Know.
You just have to assume.
Okay. Okay, so it's I love that you mentioned finances and you mentioned children, because those are the next two things I want to talk about. But first, let's get into my next question, which is, should broke people be together? Should they be dating? Should broke people be dating in this economy?
You know what? I'll blame the algorithm.
Okay.
For these ongoing, unnecessary, dividing, hate-fueled, misguided conversation.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that a lot of these conversations are being done by people that are not even in relationships. Those of us that are in healthy relationships, we laugh at those things. What do you bring to the table? You should pay for my nails. You should do this or you should do that. At the end of the day, you do what you're capable of.
Period.
Without it being a requirement. And I tend to say that no man tends to reach their peak financially or success-wise without a woman by their side.
You hear that, niggas?
Research shows...
I'm talking to you niggas once again. Go ahead.
We have seen that research-based, again, right? I'm big on research, right? that men tend to do financially when they're in a healthy relationship. Men tend to live longer when they are in a happy, healthy relationship. Men tend to be better emotionally, mental health wise, and physically when they are in a long term relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So finding the right woman to be with is an investment that will pay 10 times the dividends, right? So when these conversations are happening and these are single men, they don't understand the benefit of a relationship. And a lot of times, this tends to be the dialogue because most of these individuals have a fear of intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
or they're unable to find healthy relationships. No one is choosing them, right? I'm not in a relationship because I the women want me to be able to pay their bills, pay for their
Yeah.
nails, and etc.
Yeah.
I'm not in a relationship because I need a man that's gonna pay all my bills, that's gonna fly me out on vacations or etc. No,
Yeah.
you have a fear of intimacy, or
Mm.
you don't have the skills needed for you to build a long-lasting relationship. But instead of taking that accountability, instead of looking at yourself in the mirror, instead of highlighting on how you have contributed to the lack of relationships that you've partaken in, it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to project it and blame everybody else, right?
Mm.
Your defense mechanism is there to protect you. It's not me, it's you, right? So a lot of these conversations are just you taking out your gun, you're shooting at everybody else because you're hurt or because you can't have what other people have in most cases.
You can't have what other people have. Like you want it though.
You definitely want it.
Mm-hmm.
Human nature, we all crave connection,
Yeah.
right? We want a healthy relationship. We want to feel loved. We want to feel appreciated. We want to be with someone. In most cases, most of us want a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to drive a minivan, but we're going to get the SUV. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We want those things. But we are the common denominator to all of our failed relationships.
I see.
So how could it be everybody else and not you?
Every time.
Exactly.
Well, how do you know when you're in a healthy? Run it back. Whoop whoop. How do you know when you're in a healthy relationship? Like, what are the signs that you're in a healthy relationship?
You have to build that.
Hmm.
And that starts with you. How healthy are you yourself?
Yeah.
Right? Emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
How aware are you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand the things that you do that is destructive to the relationship? Are you willing to own up to it and correct it? Because relationship is dyadic, right?
Yeah.
What I do impacts us, what you do impacts us.
Yeah.
Right? The relationship can only become healthy if we're both engaging in healthy pattern and healthy behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the signs are learning how to communicate. Couples divorce over the conversations that they should have had but never had.
I see.
Right? So it's learning that. Building out the friendship. How well do I know you? How well do you know me? When we spend time together, is it enjoyable or is it chaotic?
Mm-hmm.
When I have good news, are you the person I want to talk to or not? Do I feel supported by you? Do I feel celebrated by you?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the big gestures. Ooh, I know social media, we want all the big gestures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go on vacation, everything's paid for. He bought me this car, or
Mm-hmm.
she got me this land or this watch. Big gestures are definitely needed.
Yeah.
But what about the small gestures?
Yeah.
The way you hold my hand when you talk to me,
Mm-hmm.
the way you greet me, how often we talk, the way you prepare my meal and I take care of the laundry, the way we work together as a team, the way we hug each other, right? The way we celebrate each other,
Mm-hmm.
the way we affirm each other, right? The small gestures add up to be more significant
Mm-hmm.
than the 3 times a year big gestures.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of relationships, couple goals are being done specifically for social media and because they are a business and a brand.
Yeah.
So
Ultimately.
it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
to go and do these things that we don't have to pay for. It's part of a brand deal.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get to showcase it, and not everybody wants that.
Right.
Social media has had a negative impact on all relationships, I would say. On most relationships, I would say.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I wanted to talk about. Damn, this mic is coming from my mouth. I want to talk about social media induced infidelity a bit.
Ooh.
Is infidelity at an all time high? Would you say, or could you theorize on that?
I'm not gonna say all-time high because again, the statistics are skewed, right?
Yes,
But
of course, you never really know.
I did read a research by the Journal of Marital Matrimonial Lawyers, where they stated that 50% of divorces were due to social media use, right?
Ugh.
Private messages
Mm-hmm.
and
Hidden messages now.
hidden messages,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to interact with each other 24 hours,
Mm.
the avalanche of opportunities, right? I tend to say that someone's trust and discipline is based on how many opportunities they have,
Yeah.
right? When you attain a certain level of success and influence, you have more opportunities. Are you able to still be disciplined in that space, right? So with social media, I think the biggest issue is comparisons.
Yeah.
Comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to forget it's a highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're doing this to showcase me this.
Yeah.
I've dealt with it. I've had some people show up on my screen. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are you doing here? I'm looking at your last 3 posts. You were here, you were there, this and all that. It looks glamorous.
Of course.
But in reality, behind the scenes, they're not even fucking with each other like that.
Mm-mm.
But those that are consuming it are allowing that to become their standards of what a relationship should look like.
A fictional relationship, essentially.
Correct. So we become very unhappy with our real life relationships, as opposed to the fairy tale that we are consuming online. The ability to connect with as many people becomes an issue. Listen, you could meet somebody here one day and they live across the world. Now you can still remain in connection with them, as opposed to before. If they're not local, there's no such thing.
No. Yeah.
Right. So social media is a major issue. Transparency is needed. I think couples need to be more forthcoming about their social media use, their direct messages, but also is creating a space where we can talk to each other, creating a space where I can label what emotional need is not being met.
Or just a safe space to just be like, I'm uncomfortable with the amount of times that I see this person reaching out to you.
Yeah.
Is everything, just checking in.
Is there anything I should be
concerned about? Yeah.
Is anything, I think it's very fair to ask your partner, hey, is there anything about your social media use that if it was previewed to me would make me question your commitment to this relationship?
Yeah.
And for the social media user to also ask them that question, to ask themselves that question, right? A lot of times we're directing everything at everybody else, but let's ask ourselves, hey, if my partner was to see my engagement and my messages and the pages that I follow and interact with, will it affect the way that they view or feel safe in the relationship? And that should tell
Be honest with yourself. Be honest.
Exactly.
I think people lie to themselves more than they lie to anybody else. For real. It's so easy. Becomes second nature after a while.
And going back to the social media conversation about what do you bring to the table and what are the requirements and etc., right? I like to highlight that most men will take on those roles if they feel like their partner have build with them to attain those goals.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm already at a certain level that you have no contribution to, why do you feel previewed to my resources to that extent? Right? I should be the one that gets to decide what resources I want to make available to you because they're my resources that I've attained alone. Now, if you're part of that process, then definitely these resources are available to you. A lot of time we forget that part. Am I right or wrong? Talk to me.
Listen, you the expert. And the mic is like,
no, but I am curious. What do you think of that?
Re-ask me the question.
Okay. So if I'm single,
Yeah.
and I have the finances where I could cover all of your bills,
Okay.
that's my choice
That's your choice.
of whether or not I want to do that, right? Should that be a requirement of yours?
I don't think it should be a requirement. Hell no.
Exactly.
I just don't think that it's reasonable in this economy to expect that someone should take on 100% of your financial obligations. I think it always should be voluntary. And I think that when you enter into a relationship or a dating ship with someone, you should figure out what needs that you guys are willing to meet.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you're meeting each other's needs and you sign up for the same thing and you agree on the same thing, then it's all good.
Yeah.
But coming into it with a requirement,
it's not feasible.
It's not feasible. And
right?
It's actually, I think it's patriarchal.
No, it's you removing yourself. Is you creating a reason as to why the relationship's not going to work.
Yeah.
Versus stating, hey, last time I was in a relationship, I got hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with those emotions again because I want to say I don't trust you, but in reality, I don't trust myself when it comes to decision making about potential partners. So I'm going to put this out there knowing that you're going to reject it. And I can easily say it's because you didn't want to meet
and get out.
this need. Correct.
Yeah.
Fear of intimacy. Right. But when you're building together, right, and we have two incomes, most financially intelligent individuals will say, hey, how can we live off one income and make use of the second income?
Yeah.
So I'll take care of all the finances, and your income becomes our investments, our savings, or etc. Right? But when you are saying, hey, you take care of all of my financial responsibilities, and my income remains mine with no access to you, what safety is being provided for me as the one that's paying all of your financial responsibilities?
Also,
I'm losing.
You're losing and you're feeling disposable because it's like the moment you can't pay for everything that I need you to pay for, they're like, oof, get rid of him. That is nuts. So it's like, what is your relationship built on in reality if that's the case? If you're willing to dispose of your partner, if they can't take on your financial.
Yes. And again, these conversations are having by those that are single.
Yes.
Not those that are in relationships.
Yes,
right?
Definitely not. When I see the comments on those things, I'm like, as someone who's a serial dater, I'm like, I would never feel this way about my partner.
Correct.
Because not when I'm in love with them.
Exactly.
Like, I actually love them. So
yeah, if you,
I want to talk.
To me, it does not make sense.
So the concept of a high value man, we've been hearing this a lot. These sleeves are OD. I'm not gonna lie, it's my first time actually wearing this dress. I've had it for like a year, and I was like, let me wear red. Like, these sleeves are so dramatic. It's giving La Bamba. Okay.
Hey.
Anyway.
Hey.
I'm crying. Okay.
High
value man. Everybody's talking about it. These what's it? Blue pill, red pill, one of them pills.
Whatever.
Yes, you know the concept. Yeah. And I believe that men are valuable just for existing. That's what I believe. I believe that if I enter into a relationship with a man, that I deem him to be of value to me. But the concept of a high value man, I feel like has been used as a scapegoat for men to not work on themselves because they feel like they're of high value.
The dating world was created by men for men. The dating world was created by men for men. It's to the benefit of men. They get to create the narrative. They get to create the dialogue. They get to create the requirements.
Yeah.
Right? High value men makes no sense to me. Right? Especially in the concept of relationships. Just because you're financially stable and you have financial resources,
you're handsome, whatever.
Right. Doesn't mean you will make a great partner. So you're high value to what? To your business or to a relationship, right? Your finances does not directly correlate to a healthy relationship.
Hell no.
Your social status does not directly correlate to a healthy long-term relationship. So I actually had published an article against that when everybody was just talking about high value men, which mainly was done by men. May I say black men?
And we love them, obviously.
I am a black man.
You're a black man.
Right?
And I'm a black woman who loves black men.
Correct. So if we're gonna say you're high value, we're gonna speak to your emotional IQ,
Yeah.
your communication skills,
Mm-hmm.
your ability to repair a rupture,
Right.
right? Your ability to create a brave and a safe space for us to process our feelings and our emotions,
Yeah.
and your ability to be committed to the work and your discipline needed to make this relationship work.
Mm-hmm.
That's a high value man
Mm-hmm.
from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. Talk that talk back.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest. But if I was a single man,
yeah,
in my early 20s,
yeah,
or late 20s, who's not seeking a long-term relationship and want to blow smoke up my ass,
yeah,
and want to have my pick, I'm pushing this narrative out.
Right.
Especially if I'm meeting those income thresholds and those status thresholds. Yeah, let's push that out so I can be more in demand.
Okay. But I also feel like it's been men who have in the past not been picked, you know? No, seriously, I feel like there's been men in the past who have not been picked, and they get into a position where they came up, their money's up, everything, and they're like,
it's my turn.
It's my turn.
My turn.
I'm a high value man, girl. Don't touch me. Unhand me, woman.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a lot of those.
I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you 1,000%. And that's why we got to change the conversation.
What's an alternate way to describe this this term high value man that they're using? What is a healthier version, would you say, of that?
High emotional IQ man.
I love that. It's long. It's a long word. It's not. It doesn't roll off the tongue like right? High value, but high emotional man. IQ man.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Why are we not pushing that instead?
Yeah, that's true.
Why are we not pushing that instead? High value man, because there's no benefit in pushing a high IQ man, because I don't have a high emotional IQ. So why would I push that? That don't benefit me.
No.
Versus, hey, look at the car that I drive. Look at the clothes that I wear. Look at the brand names. Look where I go on vacation. Look at my accessories. Look where I live.
Some of the women they fuck. Sometimes it's that too.
I should be wanted because I've attained a certain level of success. That's what men have been told for years.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, we cannot fault them.
Yeah,
when the requirement is I have to be able to have the necessary resources to handle your financial responsibilities.
Yep.
To be chosen.
Yep. So then it's reinforced by women saying shit like women, the same women that are like, fuck a high value man, are also requiring men to take on all their financial responsibilities. But you know what that's called, baby? Patriarchy. And both men and women are participants of that.
It's the reward
and toxicity,
system.
Yes. Yeah.
It's when I look at can we talk about dating real quick?
Yeah.
Right. If you are looking for a partner and you're in your 30s, you're fucked. I'm sorry.
I'm turning 30 this year.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
fucked.
Because of the pool of men?
Yes.
It's hard, huh?
But not why you think it is.
Okay.
Most men, so 50% of the population have a secure attachment, meaning
like that
they are able to function in a long-term committed relationship.
You said 50%?
Yes.
Okay.
50% of the population.
Okay.
Men and women. The remaining 50% are anxiously attached or avoidant attached. Toxicity. Those that are primed for relationship, guess what? They're already in long-term relationships by this age group. Right? And if it happens that they get in a divorce or they're leaving those relationships, they don't want to do this again. They want to take their time.
Yeah.
Right? What you're left with is avoidant and anxious, which for some reason tend to love to find each other.
Ugh.
If I'm avoidant and you're anxious, that means you tend to speak of your emotions a lot. That's attractive to me because I cannot do that, or I'm uncomfortable doing that. So you're doing the work for me. If you're anxious and I'm avoidant, you love me because I am able to not seek reassurance to the degree that you do. I am able to process my emotions without needing someone else's validation. But when we get together, we're opposite.
Yeah.
You're seeking me often. I'm avoiding you often. So it's like a cat and mouse game.
And then you get used to that.
And that's where the reward system kicks in. right? Because now
Yeah.
the day that you meet my anxiousness by giving me the validation and the reassurance, it excites my brain. So I'll be looking for that nonstop because that's a reward that releases the dopamine for me.
I see.
That's why if you're in the dating
It's
world,
like a drug addiction.
correct, you end up dating the same kind of people over and over and over again
Ugh.
because you're seeking that reward system.
Yeah.
Now, for you to find a healthy
Yeah.
relationship,
How do we break out of that? How do
right?
we? Yeah.
You have to work to become more secure.
Okay.
You got to go to therapy. You got to
I'm just
process that, right? Or the cheat code is find someone that is secure.
To help you through that?
Correct, right? If I'm secure and you're anxious, I can see your need for reassurance, and that doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
That doesn't force me to dive into my avoidantness.
Right.
I'll provide that for you easily and quickly because that's no issue to me, right? When we have a fight, you might think that I'm leaving you. No, I'm going to tell you, I ain't going nowhere. We're fighting right now, and I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go sit in the car. I'm just
Right?
mad at you.
So I can assist you in becoming more secure.
Yeah.
But now, the challenge becomes, how do you pick out the person that's secure out of the everybody else that's avoidant and anxious?
How? Especially if the stats are like...
Correct, right? They're in long-term relationships, and if they're leaving those relationships, they don't want to do this again for a while.
Hell no, yeah.
You're screwed. We're screwed. Yeah, screwed.
That's the conclusion?
Yeah, screwed. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, screwed.
So basically, the therapist is telling us we are indeed swimming in piss in this dating pool. We are backstroking in it.
1,000%.
It's getting in your eyes, your ears, your mouth.
You are screwed.
Fuck.
That's real talk.
So then what do we do?
I just told you.
That's the problem right there.
You have to do the work to become more secure.
And then you'll attract, right?
Then whoever that you choose to be with, you can assist in them becoming more secure as well.
It's because you won't stand. When you're secure in yourself, there's certain things you won't stand for, or maybe not necessarily won't stand for. More so, you can identify where there's an issue faster.
Yes, you're more willing to repair.
Yeah, back to that.
Yes, you repair a lot quicker, which then gives them the evidence that if they're avoidant, you're not going to abandon them.
Yeah.
Or pressure them. And if they're anxious, you're going to reassure them and they're not disposable and that they matter.
Yeah.
And that over time will help them become more secure too. In theory.
In theory.
They have to be willing to do the work themselves as well.
Do the work, y'all.
You're fucked.
So, yeah,
you're
back
fucked.
to that. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to talk about... Okay. Oh, dang it. Okay, there's a two that I want to get out of the way real quick because there's one topic that I think is really important that we get to tackle. So the two real quick is it true that people should never settle?
We're always settle.
People always say that. Never settle.
That makes no
Girl,
sense.
never settle.
That makes
You need to get everything. I'm just saying. I'm trying to help us because this is the way we've been thinking, and y'all scaring me.
Here's what I'll say. I don't think you should date for potential.
Okay.
Because there's no guarantee that they're going to reach the potential that you see in them.
Yeah.
I think part of dating, again, going back to year 4, is accepting your partner for who they are. Is being able to love them for who they are today,
right?
Not who they could be tomorrow,
right?
Because if they don't reach tomorrow,
then what?
Then what's going to happen,
right?
Right. So settling to some degree, you are giving up something at some point, right? This author and psychologist or therapist, her name is Lori. I can spell out her first name. I cannot pronounce it. She wrote a book about Mr. Good Enough, right? It's finding the person that's good enough, not the person that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because perfection is not attainable, right? I've heard I cannot be with this woman or this man because I don't like the way that they dress. I don't like their hair. That can be changed.
Yeah,
that's not a major issue. I don't like where they are working at currently. That can change.
Yeah.
That's not a major issue. But we're in a society where we're always seeking perfection to the degree that we tend to overlook a lot of good partners in hopes of a better one.
I did that. I did that. I definitely walked away from someone like, you need this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
Yes.
Looking back on it.
But as the year goes by, as time goes by, you realize the better and perfect partner does not exist.
Yeah.
And now you've let go of multiple partners that were good enough.
Yeah.
Now they are in a healthy relation. Exactly.
Nope, they didn't pull us. Right? Now you're swimming in piss.
Right. Now they are in healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And their clothes have changed. Their swag has changed. Right. Their career has elevated. The way that they chew food.
They're not smacking no more.
Right. Their neatness has improved because they can hire cleaning service or etc.
Their hygiene, all that.
Correct.
Damn.
So it's about recognizing what's good enough, which in theory is settling, versus always seeking perfection, which does not exist.
Perfection doesn't exist, y'all. Don't just say that. Like, practice it for real. Okay, there's the other one. Real quick. Do people stay in relationships longer than they should?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. On average, couples wait 6 years too late before couples therapy, and that makes no sense.
All the resentment's built.
Exactly. Right. A lot of times, the relationship has ended a long time ago. But we are together because we took vows, because we're of a specific religion, because we have children, and we don't want to be single. We don't want to be a single mother or a single father. We don't want to do co-parenting. So, but we're in a toxic, negative relationship that's taking years away from our lives, that's negatively impacting our mental health. That's why I preach play offense and not defense. Go to couples therapy as quickly and as early as possible. Learn the skills needed, so when these waves that are going to happen in your relationship takes place, you have the skills to navigate that.
Yeah, you gotta weather the storm.
Correct.
You gotta be prepared to weather the storm.
You okay?
Board up the windows, all that.
You okay?
Barely. But, okay. 2 more. The last one's a quick one. So this next one I really wanted to touch on really quick because I think this is important, and this is more so about families. And you're someone with a family, so I do want to ask you
3
this.
under 4, highly do not recommend.
Ooh wee, it's packed in there.
I was busy.
But so I've been seeing a lot of my peers with kids, a lot of the person that they had a kid with, the other parent, maybe it's the baby mother of the children, they're not together anymore, and they'll say negative things about that person, that their dad, to the kid, or use the kid as like a bargaining chip. It's just like, you know what? I don't like you, so I'm gonna hurt you by withholding this kid from you. In one case, one of my friends hasn't seen his kid in 6 months, and his kid his kid is about a year old now, and he's probably missed her first words. He's probably missed her walking for the first time.
Why?
Just bitterness of the mother, you know.
From his perspective.
Okay. And so he ended up filing papers on her so he can see his kid, and so she filed some back on him recently, and it hurt his feelings because she's kind of trying to paint him out to be like he's so unfit, and he's just like, so he's ready to. He wants to see his child. He wants to be an active father, but it's being prevented by the other. Ouch. How does that impact the mental health of the people doing that, and then also the children long term?
Oh man, Lord, where do we start?
Yeah,
just with the children alone, like, children that are devoid of a father figure have a higher rate of mental health issues, are 4 times more likely to not succeed in life, 6 times more likely to end up in jail or engage in negative behaviors that will land them in jail, right? Children that are raised in a 2-parent household or have consistent access to their fathers have higher IQ, higher emotional awareness. Their behaviors tends to be a lot better, and they tend to be more successful and succeed academically and also professionally, right? So in short, it's beneficial to not have both parents around, right? It's nature and nurture. Both are needed in all cases.
Yeah.
For the father, and I'm speaking from the perspective that was just shared. It could feel very defeated.
Yeah.
To not have access to a human that you helped to create.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember vividly the first time I held my first child.
Mm-hmm.
I held her in my hand, and she opened her eyes and looked at me. I'm like, oh shit, I'm a father.
Yeah.
That's when it clicked. That's when I know, oh, I'll kill for you and I'll die for you.
So, I'm about to turn up.
Right? I'll kill for you and I'll die for you.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put myself in this man's place of not seeing my child, not waking up and going to sleep with them.
And then potentially the mom painting a narrative about you with your child before your child gets to know you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Self-hate, low self-esteem, aggression toward the mother, aggression toward the child, aggression towards me. Like, we can really pinpoint because it differentiates per person, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And as the mom, right, as a single mother in general, resentment toward the father for not being around, resentment for having a failed relationship, resentment with the title of single mother or baby mama, resentment for having to go through the court system. Wow. I hope they can figure it out
before it's.
I'd recommend that they go to therapy together to just focus on co-parenting.
Because the object at this point is not about you guys if you're not together anymore. Now it's about the kid. So it's like, how do we be the best for this human being? Because we've already made our decision that our relationship is not going to work.
Yeah. Also, when a man becomes a father, his hormone makeup and brain changes, right? Your testosterone drops and your estrogen increases. So you can bond with the child a lot more and you can focus on keeping this child alive, right? When your estrogen increases, like you can hear the child crying at night, you tend to be more emotionally attuned to the child. That's why you'll see the toughest guys, the biggest gangsters, will wear a tutu to play with their daughter, will have tea time. That's all estrogen. So having that within your body and not being able to connect with that child will drive you nuts. Will drive you nuts.
Knowing that the child exists.
Yes. But also for the child, part of their development is engaging in risky play, which tends to take place with the father.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a part of their brain.
Them throwing you up in the air, flipping you.
I wrestle my kids. Okay?
It's so scary.
We throw punches. Daddy, toss me again. As hard as possible. I will. I don't care your gender. You gain this work, right? But for this child, if there's no male figure present or taking on that role, there's a part of their brain and their socialization that's not being developed accordingly.
Yeah.
And mom can also grow resentful to the child. Like, I wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Like,
that abuse happens a lot in that case.
Bro. As a two-parent household, you get tired of being parents.
Yeah.
As a single parent,
can't even imagine.
There's nobody to help you.
Single parent in survival mode.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Don't make it harder for yourself though by pushing the dad out.
There are times I'm like, babe, I don't got it.
Yeah.
Step in. I'm out because I'm done. I need 15 minutes, and she'll step right in, and vice versa. If I didn't have that would then be projected toward the child. That's destructive.
And then the child is just way too young to even understand what the hell's going on. So they're going to blame themselves. And then I hear that from my peers that's where the low self-esteem develop. My mom would say like little things about my dad here and there, but for the most part, thank God, they were never together when I was growing up, but like they were always friends. So like I remember like my parents used to flirt and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And I used to be like, "Can you stop flirting? This shit's weird."
Ew, Dad.
Like you're not even together. I would literally be like, "You guys are not even together right now." Like my dad would be pulled up to pick me up, and I'd be in the passenger seat waiting for him to pull off because my mom was all in the window like, "Hey, da-da-da."
Hi, boo.
Right. I'm like, "Can we go?
You want to make another one?"
I'm like, y'all are very toxic. Okay. So I'm a lover girl.
Okay.
I've been shamed for it throughout my life. Like,
Being a
you
lover
are a
girl?
relationship girl. Like,
Aww.
I just like being in relationships. But also right now in this phase of my life, it's very heavy on the not, because I've been in relationships since I was in high school. Like for take 10th grade, I've been in back-to-back relationships since, and I'm 29 now. I have not been single for long. There was 1.5 years in my life that I've been single since my 10th grade of high school. The therapist is analyzing me.
I like the way you framed it as a positive thing too. Yeah.
I'm crying.
It's a good reframing.
Okay, well,
versus the truth.
Right now, the phase is working on myself, because it's like that doesn't allow you the full. What is it?
Because you're being forced to.
Yeah, I'm being forced to now at this point. But like that is also, I think it's also God telling me like, okay, like it's not working because you have to. There's a lot that you need to figure out on your own, and that's the phase I'm in.
Keyword is on your own.
On my own.
Yes.
But my question to you is romance dead?
Is romance dead?
Yes, that's what a lot of people are saying.
Not at all. A romantic man will always be romantic.
Yeah.
A man who if you're looking for a partner, you need someone that's coachable. When you give them feedback, are they able to apply it? So if I am saying, hey, I need more romance from my female or male partner, they should be able to apply that and show up with that, right? So romance is not dead. The conversation about romance has shifted, right? There's nobody with a boombox no more. We're not writing each other poems and love notes. We're sending reels and voice notes. We're just going out on vacation, right? But romance is not dead. We just have to remind our partner what it is that we're in need of, how we need to feel loved, and when they do it, reward them, praise them, clap, jump on them, do whatever you got to do so they attribute this action with a positive response.
It's like a little dog training.
So, kind of, yes.
Give him a little snack.
Yes.
Make him a snack.
Yes. It's called classical conditioning.
Oh, okay.
A reward system, but romance is not that. I'm very romantic. My wife is very romantic, so.
Yes, I would say I'm pretty romantic too. But that romance can really go depending on, like, if I am in a moment where I'm feeling like I've been stepped on. After a while, it just makes me into a person who doesn't feel safe to express myself. And myself is a romantic self.
Yes, but the word you're looking for is appreciated.
Yeah.
When you feel like your output is not being appreciated, then you refrain.
Yeah. Absolutely. Damn, Mac. You really came in here and rocked my shit.
I'm putting your puzzle together now.
Oh, God.
This is the most I've learned about
You're like,
in our
relationship
years.
girl, huh? Okay,
yes.
since 10th grade. Okay.
So you say.
I'm 30. Turning 30 this year. I'm turning 30 in November, and this is going to be my first time of me walking into this space of just, it's me at 30. At 30, though. Now I'm like,
you got 4 months.
Now the dating pool is piss.
You got 4 months. There's nothing to say you'll be single by then. Based on your track record.
Man, I should be, though,
it's
right?
It's less likely, but you definitely need to be.
I need to be.
Yes.
Because if I haven't been for a prolonged amount of time, then.
Yes. And you have to address why you need a relationship.
Anxious attachment. I have avoidant attachment with my parents, both of them. I'm avoidantly attached to both my parents. We gotta do a part 2.
This is great.
We gotta do a part 2.
This is great.
But thank you so much, Mac, for joining us. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram as Talk to Mac Stanley. Talk TALK 2 Mac Stanley. Also, I am dedicating a lot of time to my YouTube page. It's also Talk to Mac. And it was a pleasure and honor. It's the first podcast I've done in 7 months.
It's my first guest. You're my first guest.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for
coming.
Don't
kill me out there for these takes, please.
Oh, it's a wrap. Also, they need to hear this shit. Fuck it.
I don't disagree.
Thank you guys for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe.